face cool. All of my bag, are you confused? I ride a bag, I ain't going to school. I know he ain't that, but he made the news. She said, do you so melodic? You always styling, do you got a style? Got me smoking the eye, you bring the
Mo. Fam. We is back, man. My fault. I was in Jamaica. You feel me? I'm gonna post some shorts on my vlog account. It's in the description. Feel me? Make sure y'all subscribe, hit the like button. Follow me on the Grammy. It's All the Dream TV _. But Skyboy is back with another doc. I know I'm late. Y'all seen this shit. Y'all put it in the comments. Y'all hit me up on Instagram. I was telling y'all, feel me? I was like, yo, I'm in Jamaica. Y'all was like, yo, have fun, Rasta, man. Y'all, wagwan. Y'all was going crazy. But feel me? I love y'all niggas, man. But we got Regent Park. I got 2 docs with Regent Park, gang. The one I did another one before I left. It was 2 artists, feel me? They be freestyling and shit. From back in the day, freestyling. They did a song with Jadakiss. You feel me? So I did that doc. Well, let's get it though. Another one. Let's get it. Let's go.
Warning. The following content contains themes of violence, death and gang activity. Although I talk about gang violence that plagued the streets, I in no way, shape or form is glorifying it. I'm merely putting together a historical account in chronological order in the best way I can, while abiding by YouTube's community guidelines. The uncensored version of this video can be found on my Patreon. Today we are in Regent Park, which is a neighborhood located in downtown Toronto. Built in the late 1940s as a public housing project managed by Toronto Community Housing, the north side of Regent was made for soldiers coming back from World War II and their families. Cabbagetown is the community the hood was in, and it was majority Irish people. Cabbagetown's name derives from the Irish immigrants who moved to the neighborhood in the late 1840s, said to have been so poor that they grew cabbage in their front yards. In regards to the black delegation, they didn't become a factor until the crack era in the early mid-80s. A lot of them came over from the Caribbean during Pierre Trudeau's reign as Prime Minister, when he opened up the borders to black Caribbeans and other minorities. The gang element really didn't kick in until the mid-80s, when crack became an epidemic across North America. Those times there wasn't gang, just crews within the neighborhood. Regent was the first place a lot of immigrants came to when entering the country. Eventually, Toronto Community Housing started to move people to Jane and Finch and Scarborough. Regent Park is a staple in the culture. It's where hood classics like Paid in Full was filmed, as well as the movie Narc, which is set in Detroit, but was shot entirely in Toronto, specifically Regent Park. The first crew in Regent that got citywide wasn't a street gang, it was a sound crew that was from South Regent, which was led by a community leader.
Nobody else wonders, like, because I know when I think of that shit, like, because you know, Paid in Full is one of my favorite movies, gang. That's supposed to be in Harlem. And all my life, I thought that shit was made in Harlem until I started doing this shit. 20 fucking years, I've been thinking that shit was filmed in fucking Harlem. This shit was filmed in fucking Toronto, bro. So anybody, my question is, anybody be like, how the fuck they make that shit look like it's from back home? You feel me? From where they from? And they in a different country, a different city, town, whatever. How the fuck do they do that, bro? But let's get it.
It wasn't a street gang, it was a sound crew that was from South Regent, which was led by a community leader named Anthony Brown. He used to hold Blockorama hood parties that had the realest guys from around the city coming to the park for the functions. Now on the 28th of November 1992, Anthony McDonald Brown was out on bail for an attempted murder charge when he was shot in Regent Park. Anthony was found by an acquaintance in the parking lot of Regent Park Community Recreation Centre and was taken to hospital by 2 friends at 8:30 p.m. Anthony later died at St. Michael's Hospital. His cause of death was a bullet through the heart. On the north side of Regent, there was a Anthony later died at St. Michael's Hospital. His cause of death was a bullet through the heart. On the north side of Regent, there was a crew that was led by a community leader named Mighty Mouse. He also ended up being killed. In the 90s, Regent was a hotbed of drug and gangs. There wasn't one gang in control during the 90s. There was multiple gangs all vying for the lucrative drug and prostitution trade. The first actual set that had pulled throughout the neighborhood, north and south, was Point Blank. Point Blank is a Canadian hip-hop group from Toronto, formed in 1992. Growing up together in Toronto's Regent Park, Canada's old and largest housing project, their music reflects the culture and social issues faced by many inner city youth. Issues such as single parenting, racial profiling, systematic poverty, and police harassment are explored throughout their lyrics and beats. Despite being a music collective, Point Blank was street orientated. They had the support of other sets from North and South region. During these times, the only issue Regent had was with another Toronto community housing area named Flemington Park. Many of Toronto street legends made a name for themselves in the 90s, back before the social media era. One of them was known as Gaddafi. He was a stepper who lived in Alexandra Park but was cool in Regent Park. He knew all the D-boys, girls and steppers in the park. His people, Fish, Culture, Assassin, etc. had some issues with some parkers, but Gaddafi kept it cordial until he heard Point Blank was talking spicy about him and his team. Gaddafi took that personally, so he made a point to see if there was any issues. So he strapped up and went to 605 Whiteside to check some Point Blank members where they chill at. As he was making his way to the building, he seen a chick he knew was cool with Point Blank, so he approached her and upped it, told her she's going to accompany him to the twin spot. They made their way upstairs.
Oh yeah. So yeah, feel me? We already know this scene. She gonna walk up to the door, knock on the drum. Feel me? She either cop or she be fucking the whole gang or something. One or the other, you feel me? Niggas gonna open the door for her. They don't know Brody behind. But you think they gonna be lacking though? You think they're not gonna have the strap or some shit? Is that easy for bro?
Made her knock on the door. The people inside seen it was her, so they opened the door to let her in. Little did they know, Gaddafi was standing to the side with his gun of safety. The lady made her way in. As she walked through the door, Gaddafi stepped in right behind her. The guy that opened the door, eyes bugged out when he seen Gaddafi and immediately put his hands up. Gaddafi then made the guy and the chick walk down the stairs in front of him in the apartment. See, Southside building had some units you had to walk stairs to either go up or down into the actual apartment. The living room was filled with Point Blank members and some Southside people. The guy and chick came in first, which didn't cause any reaction. Then Gaddafi popped in and they froze up. He made the chick get a garbage bag and walk in front of him and then proceed to rob everyone in the apartment, including the chick.
Gaddafi big dog. Gaddafi big dog. I ain't gonna lie. It was like 4 or 5 people. They could attack a boy. They let boy do. Gaddafi big dog.
He told the lady her jewels would look nice on his lady. Before he left, he asked Point Blank if they had a problem with him or his team, to which they all said no. He was moving like Omar Little from The Wire. Gaddafi and his crew would continue to terrorize Regent Park. The dude even dressed up as a chick walking around Southside to rob people. Legend has it he even dressed up as a lawyer and approached his ops in Old City Hall. He supposedly snuck his gun in his briefcase, since lawyers didn't have to go through the metal detectors those times. Toronto was a different place in the 90s and early 2000s. Now, some Point Blank OGs had issues with some young bucks from North Region who were known as silent soldiers. They didn't like the fact that some teams were making hundreds of thousands on the block without Point Blank getting a cut. The animosity would lead to them trying to eliminate one of the youths, but his chain would save his life. The silent soldier member was shot in the back of his neck, but the bullet ricocheted off his chain and went through his face instead of his arteries. This was the incident that started a major war in Regent that lasted for years. When the silent soldier member healed, he was on a mission to get his get back. He hunted Point Blank in and out of Regent.
I ain't gonna lie, that's God, gang. That's only God, bro. Hit up the chain, that's only God, bro.
One night during a Scotian jam that was on Spadina Avenue, he ran down on Point Blank who were waiting in line to get in a function. He let off 10 to 15 shots at a time. A Point Blank member references this event in a song, but claims he shot back. Point Blank were nervous of the level of get back silent soldiers were coming for. That's when Point Blank started recruiting young kids from South Region to ride for their cause. Those kids formed sick thugs who were on the front lines against silent soldiers. Now in Regent Park, there was a young guy known as Chino. He rode with a select few people. One day Chino rolled a blunt and basically allowed senior members of Point Blank to spark it. They proceeded to smoke the entire blunt, passing him back a roach. He took that as disrespect and addressed it as such. Point Blank basically shrugged it off, so Chino went to his crib in South Region and grabbed his burner. He came back to the back of the center.
His pussy. I would have whooped their ass right there. You gotta give me the fair one. Y'all not gonna re-roll up? Y'all gonna smoke my shit in front of me? I'm pussy. I don't want to kill y'all niggas. We gotta fight though. I'm gonna whoop y'all ass. You feel me? Y'all not gonna smoke my blunt in front of me and pass me a roachy. Nah. Each one of y'all gotta get pow pow. Fuck that shit. But he's ass. He's pussy because he went to go get the gun. That's pussy, bro. Pussy.
In the South region and grabbed his burner. He came back to the back of the centre where point blank was and shot a point blank member called Jackal in the face. However, Jackal would survive. On the 24th of July 2001, at about 3:37 AM, police responded to a shooting at 175 River Street. The victim was discovered on the sidewalk, suffering from gunshot wounds. Despite life-saving efforts,
why he threw that shit? He throwing the shit up like this, like his hand is like he throwing it. Like why he throwing that shit up like that? Like he can't move or some shit like that. Like why he doing that shit? Like nigga, throw that shit up, bro. Like why? I don't like that.
By emergency personnel, the victim was pronounced dead at the scene.
Rest in peace, though.
23-year-old Benny Kenneth Cloutier was the victim. According to police, it was drug-related. All I know was a Regent Park gangster known as Freshie and his people had something to do with it. Benny was very close with Sick Thugs members. In 2005, the Regent Park revitalization plan began, which focused on rebuilding the Toronto neighborhood of Regent Park for 12,500 residents over a 15 to 20 year period. The project entails transforming what was once solely a social housing development into a self-sufficient, mixed-income, multi-use community. Now on Boxing Day 2005, Silent Soldier members Sherlon Trotman, Jeremiah Valentine and Milan Mijatovic were socializing in Regent Park area of Toronto. Mijatovic and Trotman mentioned they wanted to go downtown to purchase shoes for their children. Trotman was not interested in joining them because he had concerns related to ongoing tensions in Regent Park neighborhood between them and Point Blank / Sick Thugs. Trotman was a drug dealer and believed there were strong odds he would bump into people downtown who were enemies. He felt something would likely pop off downtown. Between 5 and 5:30 PM, Valentine and Mijatovic left without him. When they got there, Mijatovic and Valentine went into Foot Locker. While the two men were looking for shoes for their daughters, a person walked into the store. The person had one of his arms inside his goose and was mean mugging or screw facing Mijatovic. For anyone confused, these expressions all mean that he was staring at Mijatovic in a hostile manner. The person with the arm in his coat eventually left the Foot Locker. Mijatovic and Valentine noticed a crowd beginning to form outside the store. There was a crew standing outside and looking in through the window. Valentine and Mijatovic agreed not to remain inside the store. Valentine knew that something was likely to pop off, so he had his gun in his sleeve. Now the crew outside were two Martha Eaton members, known as Sido, real name Tyshawn Barnett, and Big Guy, real name Lewis Woodcock. They were accompanied by a 17-year-old known as Joe J.
That last name is wild, gang. Lewis Woodcock.
Named Lewis Woodcock. They were accompanied by a 17-year-old known as Joe J, real name Jarrell Simpson Rowe. Jarrell was a Point Blank affiliate and a nephew of a Point Blank member called Hoover. Jarrell Simpson Rowe was the only person Mijatovic and Valentine knew from the crew. Now when Valentine and Mijatovic left the Foot Locker, a confrontation would take place on the sidewalk outside of the store. Bear in mind the area was packed with shoppers trying to get a good Boxing Day deal. Now what took place was an incident that shocked the nation. It changed the face of Toronto and the federal government would even change laws because of this incident.
15-year-old Jane Creba was killed in the crossfire on Boxing Day. 6 others were wounded. Last June, police charged 3 men with second-degree murder and 6 men with manslaughter.
Y'all heard what they... what they do? Yo. Y'all niggas is going under the jail, bro. First of all, y'all had an innocent and then it was a white girl. What did they... Yo, Skyboy, tell us what they did. They changed the rules and the regulations of what they do.
Inside of the store. Bear in mind the area was packed with shoppers trying to get a good Boxing Day deal.
What
took place was an incident that shocked the nation. It changed the face of Toronto, and the federal government would even change laws because of this incident.
They changed laws.
15-year-old Jane Creba was killed in the crossfire on Boxing Day. 6 others were wounded. Last June, police charged 3 men with second-degree murder and 6 men with manslaughter in what police believe was a shootout between 2 rival gangs.
Now, police were quick to identify the primary suspects involved. They were Jeremiah Valentine, Lewis Woodcock, Jarrell Simpson Rowe, and Tyshawn Barnett. 1 hour after the shooting, Jarrell Simpson Rowe was arrested at Castle Frank Station. He was found with a gun and a phone that belonged to Richard Steele, who was of Vaughan blood. Jarrell Simpson Rowe had robbed the man hours before the infamous Jane Creba shooting took place. This robbery was even captured on CCTV. As you know, Project Green Apple was in full swing. Investigators spent 11 months intercepting 250,000 phone calls, reviewing hundreds of hours of security footage, and arresting more than 24 suspects, mostly for drug and gun offences. One of these men was Sherlon Trotman, who was friends with Jeremiah and Mijatovic. Now, he was charged with 2 counts of possession of cocaine. For the purpose, possession proceeds of crime, 2 counts of traffic in cocaine, and possession of marijuana. Police ran their game and were able to get Sherlon Trotman to testify. Sherlon Trotman testified that as Valentine and the male he recognized were talking, another member of the group positioned further north on Yonge Street uttered the words "F that" and pulled out a gun. It was then that Valentine opened fire, shooting at a person.
Who going to jail for the white girl? Basically. You going to jail? Or you going to jail? Who going to tell the story first? I know niggas. Who going to tell the story first? Who going to jail for the little girl? That's basically what nigga said to the nigga. Nigga started chatting. Nope, I'll do it. I'll go first.
Group positioned further north on Yonge Street uttered the words "F that" and pulled out a gun. It was then that Valentine opened fire, shooting at a person situated further north. Trotman was quite specific with respect to it being Valentine who was the speaker as he described the shooting. It was Valentine who said he saw the other person pull out his strap, and it was Valentine who said he shot him. Now, in the shootout, Jeremiah Valentine would end up killing Jane Creba and injuring 3 other civilians, while Lewis Woodcock would shoot Milan Mijatovic and injure 2 civilians. What I also discovered through the Canadian Legal Information Institute is that Jarrell Simpson Rowe was wearing a point-blank t-shirt at the time of the incident. The turf war in Regent Park officially went viral, and an innocent girl in Jane Creba would be the victim of a war she had no part in. Now, Jarrell Simpson Rowe, who was 17 at the time of the incident, was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced as an adult in 2009 to life with no chance of parole for 7 years. You might be thinking 7 years, he got off light with the years given, but they decide when to release you after being assessed. Now, life in prison means adapting to a new lifestyle around monsters. You will most certainly get involved in violent altercation, as well as criminal activity to make money. These sort of things on your record can then be used to deny you your freedom. In his most recent hearing at the age of 32, Jarrell Simpson Rowe was denied parole by claiming he continues to show problematic behavior and is considered a high risk of re-offending violently. Now, in 2009, Jeremiah Valentine, then 27, pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to life with no chance of parole for 12 years. Now, Point Blank would have to...
Don't they got another video of him telling? Valentine was telling, right? I remember this. I remember this. This looks familiar. It's a video out there, him telling.
...to life with no chance of parole for 12 years. Now, Point Blank would have to respond to the level of violence silent soldiers were inflicting on them. They would turn to a sick thug member in J9. Despite being a kid, they sent him on a man's mission to get a silent soldier known as Criddy. J9 would manage to injure Criddy, but it wouldn't kill him.
Don't play that. 357 Glock, bet I'ma spray that. Aiming at the silent soldier, nigga, like, take that. He barely survived and he's screaming out, pay back.
He barely survived, but he's screaming out, pay back.
Now, on the 6th of June 2006, police were called to the Albert Frank Place / George Street South area for a shooting. Sick Thugs member J9, real name Jermaine Osborne, was shot several times. Emergency personnel later rushed him to hospital. Witnesses record the horrific incident in which the gunman
continued
continued to pump bullets into J9 long after he fell. I saw him drop to the ground and he was rolling over, holding his stomach. I heard 4 very large sharp bangs, recalls Heather Johnson. Now J9 clung to life for almost 3 weeks before he died. During that time, his daughter was born and his family even brought a cake to hospital to celebrate his 20th birthday. Now a silent soldier known as Creba was arrested for the murder of J9. We've been investigating this for 18 months. Enough evidence finally came this week and we took out an arrest warrant. Detective Banks says, now Creba would plead not guilty to first-degree murder. He later would be found guilty of second-degree murder. Now a juror alleges she was coerced by fellow jurors into convicting Creba of second-degree murder. Because of this, the Crown elected not to proceed and the charges against Creba were dropped. Now there's this guy known as Bodhi. He's originally from Jane and was a reject from his block. He went to Danforth High School. A few Regent dudes would also go there. Bodhi would get to know them and eventually start coming around Regent Park. Initially, he would hang with Tyke and those guys, but they weren't too keen on him and eventually started having issues with Bodhi. They would go back and forth, which would lead to Bodhi severing ties. Bodhi would then start to hang out with a guy from Silent Soldiers. This is how Bodhi gained ties to Silent Soldiers and became an affiliate. Bodhi would heavily diss J9 to the point family members of J9 would warn him, but he wouldn't take them serious. As the famous saying goes, those who don't hear must feel. And on the 21st of October 2007, police responded to a shooting in the area of 13 Simpson Avenue. Bodhi was discovered outside a residence, suffering from gunshot wounds. Despite life-saving efforts by emergency personnel, Bodhi was pronounced dead at the scene. Now a Sick Thugs member known as G-Man would have a girlfriend. She would cheat on him with a point-blank member known as Kid. When she was caught, she would allegedly lie and claim she was R-worded. I think you guys can tell what I mean by R-worded. Anyway, Point Blank would release a song titled Sensitive Thugs, which was directed at Sick Thugs. Plenty of wordplay on G-Man's name to diss him, as well as mentioning doing things with his girl, which is crazy considering Sick Thugs inherited the beef with Silent Soldiers from Point Blank, and this is how they repaid them. The streets are a myth.
It sounds cause I'm fucking your bitch, twisting her in all kinds of positions, screaming point blank. Y'all niggas ain't G-Man.
Twisting her in all types of positions is crazy, gang. Yo, you see how females do the shit, bro? And then she lied. She lied. Females is foul, bro. He said twisting her in all types of positions.
Myth.
It sounds cause I'm fucking your bitch, twisting her in all kinds of positions, screaming point blank. Y'all niggas ain't G-Man.
Screaming point blank killers? That's what he said?
Now G-Man would later confront the brother of Kid, who was known as Trouble. Both Kid and Trouble were two central figures in Point Blank. G-Man would then shoot Trouble, however Trouble would survive. After this shooting, an all-out war would break out between Point Blank and Sick Thugs. There was a man from Parkdale known as Nate Dogg, a serious step in the streets who had disdain for Regent Park. A detective even told the Toronto Star that he suspected that he may have been involved in at least 4 murders, but was never charged. One of these victims was a Regent Park member known as Fat Joe, who was loved by Sick Thugs. Nate Dogg survived 2 attempts on his life before he was eventually killed outside the House of Lancaster Club on Bloor Street West. On the 29th of June 2006, 2 young women, Natasha Colger-Wetz and Tanika Webster, were at a party drinking and decided to go find marijuana from a girl that Miss Webster knew in Regent Park. On their way, they encountered Chino, real name Quinn Borde, who was wearing a plain black pullover hood jacket, a bandana and a baseball cap. According to Miss Webster and Miss Colger-Wetz, the man forced Miss Webster to take her chain off and hand it to him, and he forced Miss Colger-Wetz to give him money in her pocket. The man then told the 2 women that they would be staying with him for the rest of the night. The 3 of them headed to an apartment to find marijuana. When they arrived, Point Blank member Kid answered the door. According to the testimony of Kid and the 2 women, the man pulled out a gun. As Kid slammed the door shut, he was shot in the elbow. The shooter then pulled the 2 women away and walked towards Queen Street and Parliament Street. At about 4:30 a.m, several police accosted them. The two women dove to the right into the staircase, and the man drew a gun and began shooting at the police. The police and the shooter then exchanged shots. Chino ran down laneway, climbed over a high fence, and slipped through the perimeter the police had set up. As he made his good escape, the shooter fired 2 shots at the ambulance, arriving at Mr. Wade's apartment. The police arrested the 2 women and took them to the police station. Miss Colgowetz did not identify.
Yo, how Chino be getting away, bro? Chino's a slick motherfucker, bro. Nigga shot at the cops and the ambulance.
Anyone was shown a photo lineup containing the appellant's photo. However, when shown the photo lineup, Miss Webster identified Chino as the shooter.
Yeah.
One of the police officers, Constable Austin, also picked Chino out of the photo lineup.
Yeah.
Chino was arraigned on 19-count indictment. He entered a plea of not guilty to all accounts.
But don't forget Chino, they smoked Chino gas. They smoked Chino to the bristle. They try to give it back to bro. Chino went home, got his gun and shot one of them. You feel me? And bro survived. You feel me? And then now he wanna come outside, shoot at rob females. He robbing females, gang. Shooting at the cops and shooting at the ambulance. The ambulance don't do shit besides help people. Come on, bro. He's bugging. He gotta go.
Arraigned on 19-count indictment. He entered a plea of not guilty to all accounts. Counts 1 and 2 concerned the robbery of Miss Webster and Miss Colgowetz. Counts 3 to 5 concerned the shooting of Cedric Wade. Counts 6 to 15 concerned the shootout between the police and the shooter. And counts 16 to 19 concerned the attempted shooting of the ambulance driver, Mr. Toshoff. Miss Webster went missing. The police found and brought her back from Jamaica just as Chino's trial began. At trial, she identified the appellant as the shooter. She testified she had been acquainted with the shooter previously. His street name was Body. Chino's other name was Body, for anyone confused. She had met him a few days earlier in Moss Park. Miss Colgowetz was also there, and Miss Webster saw her kiss the shooter. She testified that the 2 assailants had approached Chino in the park and shot him twice. Chino went to hospital, but Miss Webster saw him later that night at a party in undershorts. The Crown also led circumstantial evidence of identity in the vicinity of shell casing ejected from the shooter's gun and on the route used by the shooter to escape. The police also found a baseball hat and black jacket. The black jacket had gunshot residue on it, and the hat contained Chino's DNA. The defense originally planned that Chino would not testify, and the defense counsel did not serve a notice of an alibi on the Crown. After Miss Webster proved to be a formidable witness, the appellant decided to testify. In cross-examination, he said that at the time of the shooting, he was at his mother's home, where he had gone to recover from the gunshot wound suffered on the 24th of June. Chino admitted that the hat and jacket recovered by the police at the scene were his, but he claimed that the assailants who had shot him on June 24th had stolen them. The jury acquitted the appellant of all counts in relation to the ambulance driver and convicted him of attempted murder. The trial judge sentenced him to an aggregate sentence of 25 years with no eligibility for parole for 10 years. 25 years is a lot of time, and it can take a real toll on the mental health of many inmates. Over time, you see killers turn into fiends, and this was sadly the case for Chino. On the 2nd of April 2022, Chino died from fentanyl overdose at Collins Bay Institution. Now with the controversy...
Come on, Chino. You gave up on life, bro. Come on, bro. You out here robbing females, shooting at cops and ambulance, and you want to give up on life. Come on, bro. You getting your weed smoked. Chino went out a bitch, bro. Oh, my God. Yo, this what happened when I'm tired, yo. I just got off the plane, gang. But Chino's a bitch, bro. Chino went out a sucker, bro.
Died from fentanyl overdose at Collins Bay Institution. Now with the controversy surrounding what Point Blank member Kid did, sick thugs would jump on a track titled "You Don't Want It With Us," poking fun at the fact he snitched.
Lying in your rhymes, the whole hood knows what happened. When Kid got popped up, he took the stand. Saw the rest, an officer went and shook his hand.
Now on the 22nd of July 2007, a Sick Thugs member known as AI would be inside Flirt nightclub at 236 Adelaide Street West when he saw a group of Point Blank members. In an act of bravery, He tried to break a bottle and rush them by himself, but he would be shot. At about 1:57 AM, police responded to the shooting. AI was discovered at St. Michael's Hospital, suffering from gunshot wounds. Despite life-saving efforts by emergency personnel, he was pronounced dead at the hospital. There's a neighborhood in downtown Toronto.
These nigga committed suicide his damn self. Nigga, yo, this story happens so many times, bro. When niggas just don't be thinking, they don't have a plan B, they just be rushing, and niggas die. That shit is crazy.
Known as Alexandra Park. It's right near Regent Park. Now located inside Alexandra Park is the Project Originals gang. The two neighborhoods have had friction for a while, but there were 3 separate events that would escalate things to a whole new level. Sick Thugs member Murder Mars would get into a fight on the TTC with J Hood and another Project Original member. By the way, this J Hood is not to be mistaken with the Regent Park one. Murder Mars would be kicked off the moving bus. Because of this, Power Man and Eve would jump J Hood badly and leave him hospitalized. A guy known as Blinks will go to a Project Original house party and get his chain jammed. On the 20th of May 2007, J Hood and an Asian kid will get into a shootout with Sick Thugs members in a small alley. A lot of rounds would be fired. J Hood would get shot in the head and would die in hospital 4 days later. Despite appeals for witnesses, police are greeted only with silence. J Hood was the first body to drop in this beef. See, the Asians, mainly Chinese and Vietnamese, are a part of the politics of Regent Park and Alexandra Park. In general, the triads have a deep history in these Toronto streets.
A jury has convicted 2 men of first-degree murder and attempted murder in the 1990 execution-style shooting at Toronto's Kimbo restaurant. CFGO's Pauline Chan reports.
30-year-old Sun Long and 29-year-old Than Tat were found guilty after less than 2 days of deliberations. 31-year-old Dan V. Tran was shot 5 times in broad daylight at the Kimbo restaurant December 27, 1990. 2 of his companions were each hit once but survived.
The Asians of Regent Park would form a set known as Chin Pack and had heavy war with the Asians in Alexandra Park, who were known as the Asian Assassins. Both sets were extremely loyal to the black gangs in their hoods. In other words, their politics intertwined, meaning if an Asian assassin saw a Sick Thug member, he would attack him, and vice versa. Now in the early 1990s, in the aftermath of the civil war in Sri Lanka, the Nirmalendran family would seek asylum in Canada and start a new life in Toronto, Regent Park to be exact. Little did the parents know that they would be raising their sons in another war zone. The oldest brother Nixon would start his school life. Now when Nixon was 16, he and a friend called Awi Al-Nadir, who was 2 years older than him, would be out on Halloween night in 2007. Their plan was to rob someone walking through Riverdale Park. Nixon would carry a pellet gun. At the entrance to the park at about 9:30 PM, they stopped 3 men and attempted to...
What's a pellet gun? A BB gun, right? That's like a... Why y'all planning to rob somebody though? Like, what the fuck?
Rob them. Police were not far from the scene. They were told by a victim that had been robbed by Al-Nadir and another suspect. The witness said that one of the men was holding a gun. Officers would then confront Nixon and Al-Nadir. Al-Nadir would then be shot in the neck by an officer and was later pronounced dead at St. Michael's Hospital.
Wait. Why the officers shooting him?
Officers would then confront Nixon and Al-Nadir. Al-Nadir would then be shot in the neck by an officer and was later pronounced dead at St. Michael's Hospital. Nixon was charged with robbery and the officer was cleared of any wrongdoing by the Province Special Investigation Unit.
These officers of the law are trained to apprehend their suspects in many different ways without having to draw their weapon. But it seems they are quick to pull the trigger. This past Halloween night, they took the life of my friend Awi. He was shot in the neck by a female officer after a brief encounter. His family and friends still mourn his death, but sadly this has not been the first event of this kind. But we are fighting to make it the last one. In fact, police brutality is present all around the world, even in Canada.
Now, police claimed that they told the suspects to lie on the ground and that Awi Al-Nadir refused and fled on foot, but was stopped by one of the officers. In the struggle that followed, Awi tried to wrestle the revolver out of the officer's hand. While struggling to hold Mr. Al-Nadir with his left hand, The officer tried to use his service pistol to strike him in order to stop Mr. Nadir from struggling, said the Special Investigation Unit Director, Jane, to wrestle the revolver out of one of the officers to lie on the ground, and that Awi al-Nadir refused and fled on foot, but was stopped by one of the officers. In the struggle that followed, Awi tried to wrestle the revolver out of the officer's hand. While struggling to hold Mr. al-Nadir with his left hand, the officer tried to use his service pistol to strike him in order to stop Mr. Nadir from struggling, said the Special Investigation Unit Director, James Cornish, in a news release. Mr. al-Nadir did not stop. Indeed, he grabbed the gun, and then the struggle became one for control of the officer's gun. The officer could not pull the gun away from Mr. al-Nadir and feared that he was going to lose control of it completely. Al-Nadir was shot and killed in the struggle, is what the police say, but it's complete and utter lie.
Yeah, bro. Police be making up their own story. That don't sound, that sounds a little shaky, I'm not gonna lie. That sounds a little shaky.
They shot that boy the minute they saw him. Look, thanks to the age of the internet and the camera phone, no one can pretend to be ignorant on the police brutality that is inflicted on kids from the hood. So I'd take what the police say about Awi with a pinch of salt unless you see it on camera. Regent Park kids had a lot of issues with the 51 division. They used to arrest them as kids and take them to the Cherry Beach to beat them up and then drive them back to the hood.
They live.
I hope that discrimination doesn't exist, but I mean, we are in 51 division and it's a rough division.
At the time of his arrest, Nixon was a student at Toronto Central Tech High School and was just a credit short of graduating. The killing stunned Nixon. He would get a tattoo of Awi al-Nadir's face on his arm with the tribute R.I.P. Awi under the image. Seeing his friend killed had a profound impact on Nixon, his friends and family say. That impact likely caused a ripple effect that reached his brothers, who had looked up to their older brother throughout their young lives. Now, a year after the incident, on the 25th of August 2008, the police received detailed information from a confidential source alleging that Nixon was dealing crack cocaine from his bedroom window in the low-rise apartments in Regent Park. On the strength of these allegations, the police immediately applied for and were granted a warrant authorizing a nighttime no-knock search of Nixon's residence. The warrant was executed at about 11:30 that night by forced entry into the home where Nixon lived with his parents.
That must be a strong snitch, bro. He could say something like that and then they go in there, no-knock warrant? Nah, bro, that CI is tough, bro. That's a good... His information is solid. That they have that much confidence in that man's word, bro. No video, no nothing. That man's word, bro. And go in there, it's a good man.
And younger siblings. The police found, as expected, a quantity of crack cocaine and some cash. In addition, they also discovered a loaded 9mm semi-automatic handgun. Nixon was in custody, charged with a variety of offences relating to the illegal possession of these items. Now, the confidential source knew where he lived, but also knew the layout of the apartment, which meant Nixon later felt like someone close to him ratted him out. He suspected a childhood friend called Christopher Husband. Nixon was sent to Toronto's Don Jail until his trial date for his charges. A prisoner known as Kevin Phillips, 24 years old, was found suffering from obvious signs of trauma in the prison area at the jail on the 2nd of January 2010. He was taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries and later died. Nixon, along with others, were charged with second-degree murder of Kevin Phillips. However, the second-degree murder against Nixon was later reduced to manslaughter.
5 people beat him up. 5 people, bro. What's up with the one-on-ones, bro? 5 people beat this nigga to death? God damn.
And eventually dropped altogether. On the 31st of December 2009, Tyke and Turk would drop a song titled Missing You, which was a track dedicated to their fallen brothers in Regent Park. In the music video, you can see many Regent Park natives as well as guys from other hoods paying their respect. On the 9th of October 2010, Sick Thug members Sealand and J Hood were leaving a party just after 2 AM when they were ambushed as their elevator doors opened onto the lobby of the apartment building near Dundas Street East and River Street. After the attack, one teen went outside the building and fell to the ground. and another stayed in the elevator and got out on the 6th floor, collapsing in the hallway. It was a double homicide. Now behind an apartment building at 605 Whiteside Place is the Dreamer's Peace Garden, an homage to the lives lost in violent crimes. In Regent Park, symbol of hope for the future, but in front was a pool of blood and police tape showing the violence still plagues one of Toronto's most troubled communities. YH is the younger brother of J Hood. Now Rolex homie, who was a stepper and rapper from Alexandra Park, would claim the hit on his song Adventures K by telling YH that it was them who got his bro.
Don't get close, I don't know where he beyond. Somebody tell him we got his bro, man, it wasn't Bonds. My young boy, they call him Mr. 605. We got that gun game that'll make them run in loud.
Krills was a Sick Thugs member. On the 6th of January 2012, a woman called 911 that morning to say someone had pulled a gun on her in a Shutter Street apartment. Responding officers knocked on the door on the 15th floor apartment unit and hearing a voice inside, decided to enter. About 6 officers entered the apartment and found several people inside the small one-bedroom apartment. The Special Investigation Unit said Krills went to the balcony and either jumped or fell. No gun was found in the apartment, which is very hard to believe, and with their track record of police brutality, many believe Krills was pushed to his death.
Yo, y'all think the police pushed him off the balcony? How he accidentally fall off the balcony? Come on, man. Are we dumb? Come on, bro. What's going on here?
Many believe Krills was pushed to his death. Now in February 2012, Sick Thugs member Buck, real name Nicholas Dylan Jack, will turn up the heat on Project Originals when he would shoot up their block twice, while also managing to stab up Project Original rapper known as Mr. Comfortable, leaving him in critical condition. Mr. Comfortable would...
Mr. Comfortable. Like, you know how confident you gotta be to have that name? That means... You out here like, I'm good, nigga. Nobody could touch Mr. Comfortable, nigga. Niggas gonna wanna come get you just cause your name is Mr. Comfortable, bro.
End up recovering. The police will announce a manhunt for Buck, and he would be arrested in an overnight raid.
After days of searching, police got their man, 18-year-old Nicholas Dylan Jack, facing a slew of charges, including weapons charges and aggravated assault. A manhunt that spilled into a quiet beach neighborhood Thursday. 15 schools had to lock their doors, but police lost him. A tip would later lead them to this hotel near Warden and the 401, where he was arrested early this morning.
Any type of gun violence, any type of violence, period, will not be tolerated.
Police allege this fugitive is behind a string of violent crimes starting in February.
Forced his way into an apartment. When he got into the apartment, he was armed with a gun. He took the firearm and hit the man over the head, causing a gash to his head.
Then in late May, Dylan Jack allegedly stabbed another man inside this community center in Kensington Market.
We just saw the guy coming down and on the bed, and you can see the stab wound.
They were just saying, you know, stop him, stop him.
Yeah, that boy sound like a serial killer. We got to get him off the streets, man. Got to get him off.
And, you know, a couple guys ran down, and I think he ran through the alley. It was just, there was quite a commotion.
Mr. Comfortable, you snitch. You got stabbed, almost died. On everything I love.
Got stabbed and almost died. Lungs collapsed.
On everything I love, Mr. Comfortable got stabbed, almost died.
Now back to Nixon. He was finally released. He would start looking for Christopher Husband. Christopher Husband, who also had ties to Sick Thugs, was a dealer like Nixon. Now Christopher would rekindle his relationship with an ex-girlfriend who was called Annie Marie Campbell. It was a few days before his birthday and she promised him a belated gift. On the same day, he was also going to meet up with Nixon, who asked to borrow some money over the phone. Despite knowing Nixon had issues with him, Nixon would reassure him.
Wasn't this buddy that went to the other side of the gang? He went to the other gang? I can't think of the name right now. But they was cool. Separated, he went to the other. And there's something with this girl, bro. It's something with I don't know what it is, but it's something with this girl.
That there were no truth
I don't like
rumors. So on the 28th of February 2012, at a Gerrard Street East apartment, Christopher Husbands went to obtain his 23rd birthday present from Anne Marie Campbell. But when he arrived at the empty unit, Campbell had moved out earlier. Husbands was ambushed by 6 masked men. Now the gruesome torture methods used on Husbands can be found online.
You thought you was gonna get that pussy, boy? You thought you was gonna get that pussy.
Obtained his 23rd birthday present from Anne Marie Campbell, but when he arrived at the empty unit, Campbell had moved out earlier. Husbands was ambushed by 6 masked men. Now the gruesome torture method used on husbands can be found online. I can't get into detail about it as the video will be age restricted if I do. Christopher will manage to escape this horrible ordeal, but he also happened to get a good look of his attackers who had their masks down during a break they took. He recognized the brothers in Nixon and Nissan, Ahmed Nouri, and finally DeAndre Campbell, who was the son of Anne Marie Campbell, who he was going to link. So maybe DeAndre's motive was the fact Christopher Husbands was sleeping with his mum. All of his attackers were Sick Thug members. Now,
hey, somebody gotta do it, bro. Somebody gotta please your moms, gang. Stop being selfish.
Escaping with his life despite collapsing as he ran through the street, only to later be picked up by an ambulance. The biggest impact the attack had was not physical but mental. Christopher would develop PTSD and fall into depression. In fear he would run into them again. Christopher Husbands would purchase a gun. However, this was a dirty gun that was already used. See, on the 12th of May 2012, police responded to shots fired, and when they got to the scene, they would find a white bandana and some shell cases. Forensics and ballistic experts would test the items and find the DNA of a man known as Marcus Gibson, street name Ruckus, who was a Sick Thugs member. The gun he used was now in the hands of Christopher Husbands, who was paranoid and armed, a scary combo that would soon shock the city once again. Now on the 2nd of June 2012, Husbands and his girlfriend were strolling around Eaton Centre Mall when they stopped at a Chinese takeout spot. While his girl was ordering, Husbands was posted at the corner. This is when a group of 5 men entered the mall. 2 of them were none other than Christopher Husbands' attacker in Ahmed Nouri and Nixon. The others were Nixon's brother in Nissan, Ahmed Hassan, and finally Robert Carter, street name RBK, was a Click-Clack member, which is a set in Regent Park. Christopher Husband and the group make eye contact as they walk past him. It's like time stood still, the calm before the storm. Christopher then pulls out the same gun he kept for protection, and then Christopher Husband fired 14 rounds from his gun. Ahmed Hassan was instantly killed. Nixon was critically injured. He was rushed to St. Michael's Hospital. He died 9 days later on the 11th of June 2012 from complications from gunshot wounds. He was 22 years old. The 2 deceased men were friends. Nixon and Ahmed Hassan grew up together in Regent Park. Christopher Husbands managed to inflict damage on not just his enemies but members of the public too. Connor Stevenson, a 13-year-old boy, was shot in the head. Tasnuva Mahmood, who went to the Eaton Centre with a friend who was visiting from Boston, was shot in her right leg just above the knee. Nicholas Kalakonis was also shot in his upper thigh, and a few other civilians all suffered. In such a short time, Christopher changed the lives of so many before fleeing the scene. The police identified Christopher Husbands as the shooter after looking at the CCTV footage. The police located his last known address at his brother's residence. They placed that address under surveillance, but they did not see him. After the shooting, before information was released to the public about the name of the suspect, Christopher Husbands turned himself in to the police with his lawyer. On the 4th of June 2012, at 2:25 AM, he walked into the police station and was arrested. After the shooting and before his arrest, Christopher Husbands disposed of the handgun used in the shooting near the lakefront in Toronto. Despite significant efforts by members of the Toronto Police Service, it was never recovered. The original charges include 2 counts of first-degree murder, 5 counts of aggravated assault, 1 count of causing bodily harm by criminal negligence, and 1 count of intentionally discharging a firearm while being reckless as to the life or safety of another person. On the 17th of December 2014, Christopher Husbands was found guilty of 2 counts of second-degree murder and the remaining counts. On appeal in 2017, a new trial was ordered. Pre-trial motions on this trial began in September 2018. On the 19th of February 2019, Christopher Husband was found guilty of 2 counts of manslaughter and all of the remaining counts.
Hell yeah, nigga.
On the 11th of November 2012, at about 12:50 AM, police responded to a shooting in the area of College Street and Lippington Street. The victim was discovered lying on the sidewalk, suffering from gunshot wounds. The victim was Project Original member known as Bonix. He was transported to hospital where he eventually died from his injuries on the 12th of November 2012. His death was the work of Regent Park. Now, TB was a 15-year-old kid from Regent Park who had aspirations of making it to the NFL. On the 18th of January 2013, he was at 605 Whiteside Place when he was gunned down on the 13th floor. There's even CCTV footage of TB opening the door for his killer. One of the reasons the suspect was able not to be identified was the fact that he hid in one of the many units of 605 Whiteside Place before the police arrived. This carefully planned out tactic by the killer made the police task a lot more difficult, leading to his murder remaining unsolved. On the 20th,
you don't know who coming in the building. Bro, appreciate it.
December 2012, Sick Fuck members Glennie and Bam Bam were stabbed inside an apartment building on Bleecker Street. Glennie would be stabbed to death while Bam Bam survived from his injuries. Glennie was the blood brother of Rocky and cousin of Tyke. Now back to the Nirmalendran family. On the 21st of March 2013, a 21-year-old Nissan Nirmalendran, the middle child in the family, was chased into a senior centre in Cabbagetown. Security footage showed him run inside the building at 55 Bleecker Street, just north of Carlton Street. An elderly woman was checking her mail at the time as bullets passed by her. The man briefly hid behind the bystander, using her as a human shield. He was eventually shot multiple times, including in the chest, and later died in hospital. This was the second son the family.
You try to use grandma as a shield, bro. Feel me? God said hell no. Nigga, you gotta take that, bro. Take that. Take that. Diddy style, bro. You have to, bro. You have to.
Family have lost to the streets. I can't imagine the pain the family was going through. Rapper 22 later referenced this event on a song, mocking the fact Nissan was hiding behind an elderly woman.
Mockers using old ladies as protection in the lobby. Wow, and still getting bodied.
Michael Wen was a head figure in the Asian Assassins and was the right-hand man of Rolex Harmy. Due to his influence and stature in Alexandra Park, Regent Park were gunning for him heavy, and in March 2013, Chin Pack would score heavy.
Yorkdale Mall reopened its doors for the first time today since Saturday's deadly shooting.
But amongst the shoppers and the strollers, there's new speculation about the man who was shot and killed. John Lancaster digs into Michael Nguyen's past and his ties to Toronto street gangs.
Thousands of shoppers were inside when it happened. An altercation involving 2 rival groups spilled out into the parking lot. Shots were fired, leaving a 24-year-old man wounded and 23-year-old Michael Nguyen dead.
He was an engaging, intelligent young man.
But Frank Miller says Nguyen had a record. He was his lawyer back in 2006. CBC News has learned Nguyen also had deep ties to Alexandra Park gangs. He was one of the leaders of the so-called Asian Assassins. The gang since merged into its current incarnation known as Project Originals. Today, signs of their presence could be seen in the housing complex near Dundas and Spadina. Miller says Nguyen had served time for a home invasion.
Certainly up until that point in time, he'd had a fair amount of difficulty with the law, but certainly had the ability and the insight to turn it around if he wanted to.
Clearly, he didn't.
Rolex Harmy mentions Michael Wen in his song Wicker.
See my right hand died in front of Yorkdale. Niggas hopped out the car and they banging it still.
Now in Alexandra Park, there was a heavy hitter known as Primo. He was very tight with Mr. Constable and was a huge moneymaker. He allegedly would bring in close to 70k a week from his dealings. He would move out and relocate to Richmond Hill to get away from the violence while still making his money. Now on the 8th of January 2014, Primo was sat in a parked car at Richmond Hill Town Complex with his girlfriend Brenda and another male when a Chin Pack member got the drop and gunned them down. Primo, who was 18, and 16-year-old Brenda died from their injuries, while the other male victims survived. Now
18 bringing in 70 fucking K a month? That nigga was living good, bro. Leave that little nigga alone, bro. He was doing good.
Timothy Dongwin Lee was later found guilty of first-degree murder, manslaughter, and attempted murder. He was sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole for 25 years. The Asian assassins were itching for a get-back and will get intel on the address of a Chimpak member known as Tango. On the 25th of March 2014, they would make their move. They would knock on Tango's Simerton Avenue home, expecting him to open the door. Instead, it would be his father. However, he still shot his father multiple times, then fled in a dark-colored minivan.
Nah, my poor gang, I seen this shit. Feel me? I think Swamp Stories did this John gang. The Asians is crazy. That's a whole different story. Oh my god.
Now, Santana was a Sikh Thugs member. During his time in prison, he would revert to Islam and form a set known as Halal Gang, who would later become the face of Regent Park. Santana was the first guy to say the famous ad-lib, Awule. This was later popularized by other Halal Gang rappers. Now, Murder Mars was a rapper from the north side of Regent Park. He was a loved individual by many sets within Regent Park. And on the 4th of April 2014, Murder Mars was sitting in his vehicle.
The victim of a deadly shooting was found slumped over the wheel of this Chevy Malibu, blocks away from where the first shots were heard.
It's a brazen attack. Shooting at a moving vehicle, you know, is gutsy and stupid. Gutsy.
Police have identified him as 25-year-old Shamar Paris.
He was known to police, and this attack, I'll call it, was not random by no means. It certainly was.
Hey, Bill. The nigga name is Murder Mars. Murder Man. Whatever the fucking nigga is, Murder Mars. What you expect, bro? The nigga name is Murder. Like, the fuck, nigga? Like,
this attack, I'll call it, was not random by no means. It certainly was targeted in my view.
Online, friends are remembering Paris as an aspiring rapper. He went by the name Murder Mars, and his music video points to a possible life of crime. A police guard was posted outside Paris's 6th-floor apartment, where neighbors say he lived with his family.
Now, the same day Murder Mars was shot, he was shooting a music video with Roni. Rumours Roni was even in the back seat when he got killed. Word on the street is his death was the work of Heart of Kings, who are mainly a Scotian gang located in Parkdale. Murder Mars was a Scotian himself. On the 6th of October 2014, Halal Gang member Arno was discovered in an alleyway in Regent Park suffering from gunshot wounds. He was transported to hospital, where he died shortly after arrival. His death shocked fellow Halal Gang members Smoke Dawg and Moji. The whole hood felt it. Moji and Smoke Dawg would release the music video for their song Still in his honor, as he paid for the video. And
yeah, I remember him. I like Boy right here. Him right here, I like Boy. What's his name? I like him. Cause he had faith. He had faith in his brother. He paid for the studio and shit like that. I like him. It's sad that he died. Damn, bro. Cause he had faith. He was gonna be like Little Bibby. You feel me? He'd be like a manager type shit. You feel me? And help artists grow and shit. I seen that for him, bro.
And Moji. The whole hood felt it. Moji and Smoke Dawg would release the music video for their song Still in his honor, as he paid for the video and the studio time. Arno even featured in the video. It was a decision that turned out to be a smart one, as the video reached 1 million views within a month and even got the Drake cosign. He would later take Moji's famous Ginobili dance and showcase the source on his song Hotline Bling. Moji, along with his Halal Gang friends, will not only become the face of the new generation of Regent Park, but the face of Toronto's underground rap music scene.
Halal Gang.
In downtown Toronto, at the Garden Restaurant on Dundas Street West in the early morning hours of 16th of November 2014, CCTV captured an armed robbery in the washroom area of the restaurant. The victim of the robbery was Dennis Green. He was wearing gold chains around his neck that night, and when he entered the washroom area, a group of robbers, 2 of whom brandished semi-automatic handguns, wanted those gold chains. Tariq Muhammad was a friend of Mr. Green and was with him at the time of the robbery, and they both physically struggled with the robbers. When the gold chains finally broke during the...
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I fucking hate YouTube, bro. I fucking hate YouTube because we all seen this clip right here. It was just a little scuffle. It was a little scuffle. YouTube, you could post this shit, gang.
Struggle. Mr. Green and Mr.
Not
Muhammad
Skyboy.
were
I'm
able
saying
to escape
YouTube.
to the front.
Yeah, gang. I couldn't do it, bro. I couldn't do it, gang. I had to go. For me, make sure y'all tap into Skyboy's Patreon, gang. I couldn't do that shit, bro. Not gonna lie to y'all, gang. I couldn't do it. I gotta blur it out for y'all though, but make sure y'all tap into bro Patreon. I wanted to see that shit.
2014, CCTV captured an armed robbery in the washroom area of the restaurant. The victim of the robbery was Dennis Green. He was wearing gold chains around his neck that night, and when he entered the washroom area, a group of robbers, 2 of whom brandished semi-automatic handguns, wanted those gold chains. Tariq Muhammad was a friend of Mr. Green and was with him at the time of the robbery, and they both physically struggled with the robbers. When the gold chains finally broke during the struggle, Mr. Green and Mr. Muhammad were able to escape to the front of the restaurant. Within minutes of the robbery, while Mr. Green and Mr. Muhammad were both still at the front of the restaurant by the cash register, 2 of the men who had been engaged in the robbery repeatedly shot Mr. Muhammad from very close range with their semi-automatic handguns. The murder of Tariq Muhammad was video recorded clearly and in colour by the camera that was located above the cash register area at the front counter of the restaurant. On the 17th of January,
Niggas is fighting like, yo, nigga, that's my works, nigga. I took that shit off his neck, nigga. You ain't gonna claim that shit. Give me my shit, nigga. Give me my shit, nigga.
Video recorded clearly and in colour by the camera that was located above the cash register area at the front counter of the restaurant.
I did that.
On the 17th of January 2015, 6 Thug members, Ruckus and C6, were both arrested and charged with first-degree murder of Tariq Muhammad. However, it only took 6 months for the prosecution to withdraw the charges against C6 and Ruckus. Mistaken identity was the cause, as it's clear to see from the CCTV footage that it wasn't them. Now remember how I told you that Murder Mars was loved and respected by many sets within Regent Park? Well, during Murder Mars' funeral, C6, a Sick Thugs member, would confront a Point Blank member who came to pay his respects by telling him that he wasn't welcome. The Point Blank member left feeling disrespected, which caused him to put money on C6's head. A Halal gang member would later come collect the bounty on C6's head. And on the 23rd of March 2016, C6 was gunned down at a recording studio on Carlo Avenue shortly before 10 PM. Sick Thugs member Tyke would be furious at the death of his friend C6. He also had personal issues himself with Halal gang boss Santana. Rumours that Tyke caught word that Santana put a bounty on Blinks' head. Blinks was very close with Tyke, as you can see in this image. Again, these are just rumours, but what is a fact is that Tyke had issues with Santana.
Remember Jane Creba? Remember he got shot up? Damn, he lost both of his men. Damn.
I know. When Sick Thugs member G-Man got word of Tyke's plans, he attempted to defuse the situation and tell Tyke to just ban him from the hood instead. However, it was to no avail, and on the 23rd of March 2016, Halal gang boss Santana would visit a memorial of C6. After leaving the memorial, Santana was shot multiple times, leaving a bloody trail behind him as he frantically knocked on passing car doors along Queen Street East looking for help. Santana was found unconscious in a parking lot. Attempts to revive him proved unsuccessful, and he was pronounced dead at the scene.
On April 2nd, 2016, Michael Teddy Gibson, also known as Tyke, was in the company of the deceased Julian Weeks while attending a memorial together for another murdered friend. Gibson and Weeks were seen together socializing at the Fuse Bar, located at 366 Queen Street East in Toronto throughout that evening. While out front of the bar, and without warning, Gibson allegedly fired numerous shots at Weeks, causing him to flee. He was found deceased shortly afterwards in a parking lot nearby. A trail of blood was traced back to the front of the Fuse Bar, and upon reviewing high-quality surveillance video, investigators were able to determine Gibson's alleged role in the murder. A warrant for the arrest of Michael Teddy Gibson was issued for first-degree murder. He is to be considered armed and very dangerous. He has not been seen in Toronto or the GTA since April 5th of 2016. There is a good chance that he has fled the country. Anyone that might be assisting or has assisted Gibson will be held accountable and may be arrested for accessory after the fact to murder. The Homicide Squad is appealing to the public for any information on the whereabouts of this person.
Now have a look at this video of TNT, you know, the rap collective. They introduced Santana. Tyke is at the front in the black hat.
They're friends?
Santana is in the beanie hat. Now C6 grabs his head and says Youngest in charge.
Straight up. Youngest in charge. You feel me?
Yo, for the Hit Squad mixtape, you know what I'm saying? Shit, Black Light.
Black Light.
Black Light.
It's spooky to know that the man in front later became his killer after leaving a memorial of the man behind.
Gotta close that back door, you might get snaked by your homie. Oh my God, close that back door, you might get snaked by your homie.
Tyke is at the front in the black hat. Santana is in the beanie hat. Now C6 grabs his head and says Youngest in charge.
Straight up.
Youngest in charge.
You feel me?
Yo, for the Hit Squad mixtape, you know what I'm saying? Shit, Black Light.
Black Light.
Black Light.
It's spooky to know that the man in front later became his killer after leaving a memorial of the man behind him. Now Tyke would go on the run and connect with a Regent Park heavyweight known as Tweety. With his links, he was able to smuggle Tyke out of Canada and into a country known as Aruba, which is situated in the southern Caribbean Sea.
That's fire.
During 2006, Halal gang rapper Mo G would call out Drake for stealing all his sauce without compensating him.
I've ever heard in the history of hip-hop a man that gives away his creativity and helps make Billboard hits but doesn't get paid $1 for it, one credit for it, and he's stuck in the hood. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense, but exposing these niggas will make sense.
Hey, stop, you stop it. Stop blaming another man because you ain't do nothing in your life, gang. You feel me? Yeah. You feel me? You should have put in more pain, gang. Stop blaming Drake because you ain't have your come up, gang. Stop it. Sound gay. Stop it.
It gives away his creativity and helps make Billboard hits but doesn't get paid $1 for it, one credit for it, and he's stuck in the hood. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense, but exposing these niggas will make sense.
Mo G would however pay for exposing Drake. In April 2016, Halal gang would backdoor Mo G to get assaulted badly by OVO henchmen. They turned their backs on the man who put them on the map.
When you speak,
let's keep it fact.
When you speak from your, he said, when you speak from your heart, this is what happens. Oh my God, bro, this is why people don't like to talk now.
OVO henchmen. They turned their backs on the man who put them on the map. Let's keep it factual. Mo G's talent and source is what propelled Halal gang to the mainstream. Guys like 10K were actually jealous he was the face of the brand and not his brother. They would also rather be on tour with Drake than fly back to attend the funeral of Mo G's sister. So in the future, when Mo G moved how he did, it's fair to say it's understandable. Now Halal gang were mourning the death of their boss Santana. G-Man, who was a Sick Thugs member, was angry at what Tyke did and put money on his head. However, Tyke was long gone. Now since Ruckus is Tyke's cousin and was still around and accessible, he would pay for what his cousin did. Ruckus was super cool with Halal gang. He even had a song with Smoke Dawg. Now on the 27th of November 2016, Halal gang member NSK calls Ruckus up and tells him let's smoke and chill, and heads over to his home. Now for what Tyke did, his cousin Ruckus was shot dead in the bedroom of his Rivertown home. He suffered face shots. I'm talking closed casket. It seemed gang ties weighed more heavy than the friendship. Although heartless, NSK felt like he had to do what he did. Now on the 9th of December 2016, police released a video of the suspect who killed Ruckus walking down the street. Unfortunately for NSK, he was a small kid with a very obvious walk to those who knew him. So although he was covering his face, it was apparent to everyone in Regent Park that he was the one in the video, and it didn't take long for NSK to face retribution. On the 30th of January 2017...
Nigga, I'm fighting that shit. Bro. Nigga, how the fuck they gonna catch me? Prove that's me, nigga. I don't give a fuck what y'all niggas say how I walk. Nigga, prove that's me. Fuck y'all talk about. He gonna beat that shit.
Retribution. On the 30th of January 2017, NSK, real name Ali Razir, was gunned down in front of his family's Regent Park townhome. When officers arrived on the scene, they found NSK suffering from gunshot wounds. NSK was rushed to hospital with life-threatening injuries, but was later pronounced dead. His murder was the work of Sick Thugs.
Nah, you're good, fam. Fuck it, they know who I am, bro. Real shit, man.
Real shit. And there's no how am I dissing NSK. I raised him. Again, I'm the boss. I do what I want, say what I want. NSK was my boy. He's a good kid, but he made a mistake, and mistakes cost you. They say your dog get out of hand, gotta put him down. That's how life goes. I was in jail, by the way, so like I don't know nothing. You get it? I know zero. I just came home, and the pieces of the puzzle were, you know what I mean?
On the 11th of February 2017, Durham police was...
What? Yeah, really be... Let's listen to bro again, bro. Nigga don't even give no fucks, bro. That's your man's, bro. Why would y'all put him down? What? What?
Real shit. And there's no how am I dissing NSK. I raised him. Again, I'm the boss. I do what I want, say what I want. NSK was my boy. He's a good kid, but he made a mistake, and mistakes cost you. They say your dog get out of hand, gotta put him down. That's how life goes. I was in jail, by the way, so like I don't know.
Who the fuck make these fucking rules, bro? Who made these fucking rules, bro? Listen to this rule.
For mistake, and mistakes cost you. They say your dog get out of hand, gotta put him down. That's how life goes. I was in jail, by the way, so like I don't know nothing. You get it? I know zero. I just came home, and the pieces of the puzzle were, you know what I mean?
On the 11th of February 2017, Durham police responded to a call at 109 Divina Ridge Avenue at around 2:46 a.m. Upon arrival, they found Six Thugs member G-Man with what appeared to be a gunshot wound. G-Man, 33 years old, was pronounced dead at the scene. Now to Aruba, where Tyke was staying thanks to his connection with Tweety. On the 1st of May 2017, Tyke, Tweety, and a few other men and a few ladies were having a party. The men went upstairs to conduct a drug deal, while the ladies stayed downstairs. Tweety would be shot dead by Tyke, who would later flee by car.
Yeah, Tyke. Gotta watch out for Tyke. Tyke, gotta watch out for Tyke. You gotta watch out for bro. He's moving like Alpo right now. He killed Mitch. You feel me? Santana. Now he moving to DC, Aruba. Found Tweety. Come on, bro. You're moving nasty, my boy. Stop that, bro. Stop it. Oh my
Tweety
God.
would be shot dead by Tyke, who would later flee by car. The police were able to detect it due to it being seen speeding. A high-speed chase would ensue, causing the vehicle to be flipped over. 4 people were inside of the car, one of them being Tyke, sporting a new look with his hair cut low. Once arrested, Aruba police would realize he had a nationwide murder warrant in Canada. After relaying the information to Canada, they wanted him extradited back instantly. However, Aruba police made sure he would face his charges here first for the murder of fellow Canadian Tweety. On the 19th of October 2019, Tyke went to trial and was found guilty of shooting dead Tweety in an apartment in Jaburabari. Tyke was sentenced to 15 years. I found an article from an Aruba newspaper that states he intends to appeal his sentence. Now why Tyke killed the same man who helped him get to Aruba when the Canadian police had a murder warrant out for him is beyond me. Only Tyke could tell you why. In Regent Park, there was a man known as Lulu. He had a teletink. For those who don't know what that means, basically a working girl in hotels. I'm sure you can imagine what sort of work she's doing. Anyway, she had the frequency operated button for his condo and the key to his apartment as well as the code for his safe. She was annoyed at him for messing with another girl. So when he wasn't present, she took all of his chains and gave one of the chains to Halal gang rapper Smoke Dawg. Now people in Regent Park basically tell Lulu Smoke Dawg is walking around with his chain. So Lulu and a Six Thugs member confront Smoke Dawg's 2 brothers in Ace and 10K to give it back. But they are confused because Smoke Dawg is telling them that is his chain. Down the line, Lulu runs into Smoke Dawg, murder beats and safe at a weed dispensary and takes his chain back from Smoke Dawg. Now for what Smoke Dawg did, Lulu could have killed him, but instead would sell the chain to a Project Original member known as Vanali Stacks. Now you may be wondering, how is a guy from Regent even on talking terms with the up block to sell them a chain? Well, Lulu's baby mum is from Project Original. She happens to live right beside them dudes. so he sees them all the time. He's a very charismatic guy, so he's on talking terms with them. He sells them the chain to spite Smoke Dawg because he rightly felt disrespected. Famous hip-hop personality and media giant DJ Academics reported on the story of Smoke Dawg getting his chain taken. He even posted a video of Vanali Stacks with it. From a rapper point of view, this was a damaging blow to a rap career, especially a street rapper's one. Smoke Dawg's Project Original Ops will release a song called Halal Meat, featuring his chain where they would poke fun at him, riding the momentum, further propelling their
Halal Meat is
now,
crazy.
Chimpact member Tang No, already surviving several attempts on his life, would unfortunately be targeted again. On the 17th of March 2018, police and paramedics said they were called to Playtime Bowl and Entertainment, located on Summer Road near Dufferin Street and Lawrence Avenue West at around 10:10 p.m. After arriving, officers found two victims with gunshot wounds, a 32-year-old man and a 29-year-old woman. The 29-year-old man was later identified as Tang No and was found without vital signs and was pronounced dead on the scene. The woman, who was later identified as Ruma Arma, was leaving with her husband. And
if y'all lived in Regent Park, this is a wild fucking place. Feel me? From fucking 2000 and fucking what, 5 to 6, 7, all the way to fucking now. This shit is wild, bro. From the Asians to the blacks. You feel me? Now the cops is coming. Yeah, this shit is crazy. God damn. 10
p.m. After arriving, officers found two victims with gunshot wounds, a 32-year-old man and a 29-year-old woman. The 29-year-old man was later identified as Tang No and was found without vital signs and was pronounced dead on the scene. The woman, who was later identified as Ruma Arma, was leaving with her husband and younger sister when she was shot. She was rushed to Sunnybrook Health Science Center with critical injuries, where she succumbed to her injuries. So sad that an innocent woman was caught up in another street war. Now, Halal gang rapper Smoke Dawg and Driftwood rapper Robin Banks didn't like each other. However, whatever beef they had, if you can call it that, wasn't that serious. Fellow Driftwood rapper Presser, who Robin Banks had helped put on, was very good friends with Smoke Dawg and his family. On the 30th of June 2018, Smoke Dawg and his manager Ernest Modekwe attended the popular nightclub Cube. Now, Smoke Dawg was approached by Driftwood rapper 21 Neat. Georgi Begitsanov was working in security at Cube. He claimed that he observed 21 Neat in two separate verbal altercations with Smoke Dawg at the entrance to Cube. Because of this encounter, 21 Neat and 16-year-old Keyshawn Jones were both denied entry to the club by security guards. A man in a blue shirt leaves the club and is greeted by 21 Neat and Keyshawn Jones. They all leave in an Uber. The trio would, however, return to the club later.
Yeah. He cut a part off. Alright, so boom. Them niggas seen each other already, you feel me? They seen each other already, like eye to eye. They know it was Smoke, bro. And I said this in one of the other, I think it was Tales of Toronto. I said that shit. If I don't got nothing on me, you feel me? Brody don't got nothing on me. We just seen the ops. The ops disappeared. Nigga, I'm disappearing too, nigga. I'm not staying in the same, you're in the same fucking spot, bro. Nigga, you're a cone, bro. You're a fucking target. Easy target, bro. You're in the same fucking spot. Nigga, move. Go home, bro. But he skipped that part, though. Before they hopped in the Uber, in 20 minutes, they spin back. You feel me? They seen each other. Eye to eye.
A man in a blue shirt leaves the club and is greeted by 21 Neat and Keyshawn Jones. They all leave in an Uber. The trio would, however, return to the club later, this time with 21 Neat and Keyshawn Jones, both armed with concealed loaded guns. When 21 Neat and Smoke Dawg...
Yeah, right there. Right there. Right, look at the face on him. Look at the face on him. Boy about to shit himself, bro. Go home. Boy's about to no security. Ain't nothing on him. Boy right here got the cigarette in his hand. He about nigga, I got you. I'll be right back. Stay right there. Stay right there.
Dogs see each other. This time, another verbal war erupts. This time, escalating to the point where Smoke Dawg draws his gun and fires shots at 21 Neat. The crowd around him starts to scatter, with Smoke Dawg himself fleeing after firing the shots. 21 Neat is then seen scrambling to pick up his gun after he dropped it. He retrieves his gun and then runs after Smoke Dawg. Smoke Dawg, not paying attention to his surroundings as he flees, runs past Keyshawn Jones, who then fires at Smoke Dawg, causing Smoke Dawg to fall. 21 Neat finally catches up to Smoke Dawg as he lays on the floor and proceeds to fire several more shots into him. The last man of the trio, the guy in blue, then runs up and is shocked beyond belief when he sees the aftermath of Smoke Dawg and holds.
My boy, he circled them shit. Hold on. Hold on. Let me back. Yo, this is top 5 Uda, like, not even top 5. This is the most. This nigga right here, bro. What's bro name? 21 Neat right here, bro. This shit is only in a fucking movie, bro. The nigga. The shit went in the middle of the fucking lanes, bro. It skipped the one lane, slid to the middle of this shit. The nigga picks this shit up and still pursues to run and kill the nigga, like, and run past one of the niggas, though. You feel me? This is only in the movie, bro. You can't, like, only in the movies.
Fleeing after firing the shots.
Look at this shit.
21 Neat is then seen scrambling to pick up his gun after he dropped it.
The nigga, it went from here, bro, all the way. Look, the car even got out the way, gang. Look at this shit. This shit is my favorite. This is my favorite scene. That's why I'm pausing this. I love this shit right here, bro.
21 Neat is then seen scrambling.
Because of what happened in between all the way the fuck over here to make you get over here, bro.
To pick up his gun after he dropped it.
Come on. And he almost tripped and fell. Look.
Then runs off the smoke.
Then the little stutter step. Look, peep the stutter step. He got in fucking. Oh, he got in. He plays too much Call of Duty, bro. This nigga is a legend. Oh my god. Look at this nigga. Look,
after firing the shots. 21 Neat is then seen scrambling to pick up
he
his gun
tripped.
after he dropped it. He retrieves his gun and then runs off the Smoke Dawg. Smoke Dawg, not paying attention to his surroundings as he flees.
Look, bro, right here almost got hit by the car. Look. He fell right here. This is legendary. Look.
Run past Keyshawn Jones, who then fires at Smoke Dawg, causing Smoke Dawg to fall. 21 Neat finally catches up to Smoke Dawg as he lays on the floor and proceeds to fire several more shots into him. The last man of the trio, the guy in blue, then runs up and is shocked beyond belief when he sees the aftermath of Smoke Dawg and holds his hands on his head as he runs back to where he came from. Keyshawn Jones then flees in a blacked out SUV while 21 and the man in the blue run through an alleyway. This exchange of gunplay left Smoke Dawg and his manager dead, as well as a civilian woman being hit by a straight bullet, but she would later survive. Smoke Dawg, the biggest underground rapper in Toronto, was dead, and the city felt it. Tributes came pouring in. Smoke Dawg's blood brothers would take the news the hardest. Filled with anger, they would seek vengeance on anyone that hurt Smoke Dawg. His brother Ace would act on this. On the 2nd of September 2018, Lulu, real name Michael Lewis, was attending an annual memorial barbecue for friend Kamal Hercules, who had been killed 9 years earlier. Lulu was there with his pregnant girlfriend and 2 young children when he was fatally shot dead. The shooter was none other than Ace, real name Andrew Douglas. He was charged with death. The shooter was none other than Ace, real name Andrew Douglas. He was charged with his murder. On the stand, girlfriend Emily Chamberlain, who was testifying via Zoom from an undisclosed location, recalled the day of the barbecue and how a man in a grey Nike sweatsuit arrived looking for Lewis. He said, "Let me holler at you quick." Michael got up and went with him and talked not long, and then he shot Michael, Chamberlain recalled, saying her boyfriend and a man in a grey tracksuit was standing behind her. "I think Michael knew something bad was about to happen because he looked scared. I've never seen Michael look like that," Chamberlain said. She stood up and turned around to see the shooter carrying a small grey handgun standing over Lewis, who was on the ground. He was basically standing over the top of him and throwing the gun down in his face, and Michael said no, and he shot him in the head. Pathologist Dr. Andrew Williams testified that Lewis was shot 6 times, twice in the shoulder, twice in the head, and twice in the back. During trial, 3 witnesses took the stand. 2 of them alleged that Ace shot Lulu in the head after the victim was on the ground. Another witness claimed Lewis was being held by the collar by Ace when he was shot again. Richard Posner, the lawyer who represented Ace, said that his client wasn't seeking revenge when he went to the barbecue. Posner pointed to the evidence that showed Lewis was paranoid after he stole his chain back from Smoke Dawg and confronted Ace. Now you have to remember, Lulu comes from Regent Park, and with a background in the street, it isn't uncommon to carry a gun, as paranoia never leaves you, even if you leave the streets. The day he died, he had his gun on him.
Yeah, I heard that shit though. Let me back, bro. Let me back. That nigga was paranoid after he snatched his chain back. I love this shit.
The lawyer who represented Ace said that his client wasn't seeking revenge when he went to the barbecue. Posner pointed to the evidence that showed Lewis was paranoid after he stole his chain back from Smoke Dawg and confronted Ace. Now you have to remember, Lulu comes from Regent Park, and with a background in the street, it isn't uncommon to carry a gun, as paranoia never leaves you, even if you leave the streets. The day he died, he had his gun on him, and Ace used this to say he acted in self-defense as he fought Lulu for the gun before using it to unload 6 bullets into him. His lawyer Posner also pointed out a 60-pound weight difference between Lulu and Ace, as well as footage of Ace using cologne before the event. You don't want to smell good and sexy if you're going to kill somebody, said Posner. Ace was acquitted in a trial of first-degree murder charges. A Toronto jury determined Ace, real name Andrew Douglas, acted in self-defense when he fatally struck Michael Lewis with several bullets. As for Smoke Dawg's other brother in 10K, he went on a shooting spree, targeting the Driftwood Crips. See, before they took Smoke Dawg's life, 10K was actually extremely close with Driftwood. According to Presser, 10K and the late Driftwood Crip Wasi would even go on drills together.
10K was doing drills with Wasi, no word, no lie. Wasi was bringing him on drills.
On the 7th of November 2020, 10K would fire multiple rounds into an hotel room in Brantford. Although no one was hit, the target was none other than a senior figure of the Driftwood Crips, known as Taxney. 14 hours later, 10K was there again. Jonathan Adamski and 4 others were sitting inside Adamski's Honda Accord, parked in the rear parking lot at 25 Stone Court. At around 2:21 PM, another Honda Accord, a newer model in silver with 5-spoke rim tires, entered the lot and parked behind Adamski's Accord. 2 individuals exited the silver Honda and approached Adamski's vehicle, while a 3rd individual remained in the driver's seat. Adamski started driving away the minute he spotted the 2 gunmen before they were able to reach his vehicle. At this point, the 2 individuals started shooting at Adamski's Accord. Adamski drove quickly to escape from the shooters. The 2 shooters tried to chase after the fleeing Accord on foot and continued discharging their firearms at it. As multiple rounds were being fired, a stray bullet hit Dante, a 12-year-old boy who was walking with his mother on the west side of Jane Street, heading northbound towards Stone Court. Adamski himself has no gang ties, so effectively they were shooting at civilians and managed to kill a 12-year-old boy in a crossfire. The shooters then left the scene in their vehicle. On the 8th of November 2020, York Regional Police informed TPS that they located a silver Honda with 5-spoke rims matching the suspect's vehicle description at 11 Credit Stone Road in Vaughan, roughly 4 kilometers north of where the shooting occurred. The registered owner of the silver Honda had reported the car stolen on the 13th of October 2020. A fingerprint on the car was later matched to Rashawn Chambers. Rashawn Chambers would go by 24 in the streets. He was a blood from Lane, a gang that were in war with the Driftwood Crips. Now on the 9th of November 2020, Toronto police conducted a takedown of 10K and 24 at a Canadian Tire in downtown Toronto. One of the officers jumps at 24, wrapping his arms around him and taking him down swiftly, while another officer struggles with 10K until 5 other officers
they got them niggas coming out shopping.
One of them seizes 10K's firearm from his waistband and holds it in the air. In total, 3 firearms were found on both men. Both were later charged with first-degree murder and 5 counts of attempted murder. On the 2nd of January 2022, Butter, real name Ariel Fakomi, was fatally shot in North York. He became the city's first homicide of the year. Butter was well known to police and the courts as a suspected gang member. He was once acquitted in a 2002 shooting that left a teenager paralyzed.
Imagine your name Butter, but you known as the first homicide of the year. Like, god damn, bro. That's what you known as, the first homicide of the year.
Gang member. He was once acquitted in a 2002 shooting that left a teenager paralyzed from the waist down after a robbery. A Canadian-wide warrant has been issued for a man wanted in connection to his murder, and that man was Sick Thugs member Power Man. Even at the age of 35, Sick Thugs were evidently still active in the
He
streets.
didn't have that much power.
Now, around April 2002, while behind bars in Aruba, Tyke would go on Instagram Live with Moji, explaining that Regent Park is a huge hood and there's different sets, ideologies, etc., as well as snakery in Regent Park.
Like, where we're from, it's huge and shit. You feel me? So niggas like, oh, niggas from down there, snakes. Nah, niggas, it's really, there's a lot of niggas from, like, you feel me? There's different sets, there's different ideologies, there's different, you feel what I'm saying? But from the outside looking in, it does seem like cause it used to be like united we stand or divided we fall, right? So now it kind of does seem like, because everyone has like little issues and shit, niggas think like, yo, all these niggas are weirdos, all these niggas are snakes, all these niggas catch each other. But the real niggas know like who the real ones are. There's just certain niggas we just don't fuck with. We ain't gonna call no names, but there's just certain niggas that the real ones from out there just don't fuck with no more. Simple.
On the 9th of September 2022, Rolling Loud came to Toronto, and despite Regent Park being a staple culturally in the city,
they had Doobie on that shit.
Artists and records, not a single rapper from Regent Park made it, while other hoods were well represented. And to be honest, Regent Park had only themselves to blame. Had they been united like they once were, they would...
Wait, hold on. No, I seen Doobie. They had Smiley. Some of these names don't sound familiar. Oh, the Crook, okay. Okay, Pressure, that's what I was looking for. Ooh, see, is it true? I have a question. Pings, they have ping. Is it true, like, YG? So, do artists really get mad when they name bigger than the other one? Like, you see how Pressure name type big, Paul. Then they got Doobie name. Nigga, his shit might be like 20 size font. Nigga, shit like 16. Then they got YG with like the 12, 14, feel me? Then they got Pinks over here with the 10. And 3M French over here with the 10 font. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Charlie B. Nigga, they gave Charlie B the 8. But dude, I'll fuck with y'all niggas. But nah, do niggas get mad though? Like, do niggas really get mad at that shit though?
Be running the game. Plenty of people say Regent Park will always have a black cloud over it.
A.R. Peasley, I fuck with him too. He's tough.
As it was built on top of native graves. And if you know your history of what happened to the natives in Canada, you can understand why many believe Regent Park is cursed.
It definitely is cursed.
Not, it's evidence that the biggest threat to a man from Regent Park is another man from Regent Park. This brings me to the end of this video. I send my condolences to the family of everyone I mentioned.
For sure. For sure, man. It's a W Doc again, man. W Doc again. Let me get my life on the other shit. W, feel me? Let me throw a comment in this bitch. Fire, my boy. Fire. Alright. Now, my boy be getting down to the details. Yeah, YouTube be fucking with my shit too. YouTube algorithm. Yeah, feel me? Hit that like button, gang. Feel me? That's why I need y'all help. Just hit that like button. Feel me? This is the best doc on Regent Park. You feel me? For sure. I told you, Skyboy don't be playing. Let me see. Y'all need to share and repost this video before asking for more. For sure. Nobody in the city has done that much research about the history of this place. For sure. Let me give him his props, man. Let him cook. For me, Skyboy cook, man. Facts. That like button. Passing the man bag of roaches. Crazy works. For sure. You's a bitch. I try to tell you. A great video. You planning to do what he say? Eventually, yes. Okay. Like that one. Okay. Fuck with that, man. Murder Mars and Ruckus, both cousins. And rest in peace, Smokey. Best doc I ever watched. Nah, this shit was fire though, okay? This shit was fire though, man. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on the Grammy. Y'all already know the vibes, man. You give life a new meaning when you dreaming. It's your boy Dream. And I'm out of here. Let's get to that sad 4.